Hi, I'm Don, and this is the Hobbyist Geek. Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to be starting on pack 6 of our Build the Terminator project here, and we have the first 5 packs, and just look at this guy. This guy is freaking incredible. Not sure where we're going now. Do you think we're finally going to even out the upper body, or are we going to start on the lower body? I don't know. Let's open up the pack and see what we got. And here are the parts we get with this issue. We have a pelvic plate, hip socket, and muscle connector. So it looks like we are continuing with the lower half of the model. All right, first up, we're going to be fitting this pelvic plate here. And if you take a look, there are 2 posts and these little slot things here. And there actually are little slots on either side, along with some posts down here. Let's see if I can't show you. So you can see the little slot there, and we got the 2 holes where the posts are going to go. And doesn't look like there's any call for super glue on this stage, so just make sure you get it all lined up properly and plug that thing in as a nice friction fit. And there you go. That looks pretty. Next up, we're going to be taking this little hip socket here, and if you'll notice, there are 2 little valleys in there, and there's 2 pins on this side. We're sticking to the right side, and you guessed it, super glue time. And there you go, with that piece all glued in. That actually completes stage 51. And here are the parts we get with stage 52. We have yet another pelvic plate. And then we have an outer muscle, an inner muscle, and a muscle cap. Alright, first thing we're going to do is assemble the muscle, what they call it, this little piston here. I'm going to take this piece, and you can notice that this end is a little bit more enclosed than this one. We'll take this and basically shove it all the way through just like this. And this piece here, this little cap, is going to slide in, and it's going to go all the way in. Now you can see right here, it's actually got a pretty decent friction fit. However, we are supposed to apply some super glue to this end just to make sure that it sticks around. All right, and with the cap firmly super glued in place, we can take this muscle fiber thing here, and that is going to go into this end, and again, a little super glue around to hold it in place. And there you have it, one completed muscle. For the last part of this stage, we're going to take this pelvic plate here, and you take a look, there's a whole bunch of posts here, but really we only care about these 4, the smaller ones. And those are going to go into these holes here. This is the back side of the model. You can see there are 4 holes made specifically for those pegs. And this time around, no word on the super glue, so it looks like it's supposed to be a friction fit. So let's see if we can't get this thing to fit. All right, look at that. Nice and sealed up and looking pretty. And that completes stage 52. And here are the parts we get with stage 53. We have a leg joint section. That's very descriptive. And we have another hip socket, and the inner side muscle is what this is called. Okay then. And another muscle connector. We are 3 stages into this pack and not 1 screw. That's a little upsetting. All right, first up, we're gonna take the inner side muscle here. I'm gonna just shove it right up in here. And really that's all there is to it. You want it to be able to move, so no super glue. And that's it for that bit. And then we've got the other hip socket, and we all know what happens here. A little super glue in here, a little super glue in here, fits right on these pegs, and then we're done. And with the completion of those two things, we still have these parts here, but that is the end of stage 53. All right, here we are at stage 54. And we have, well, this is the leg joint section, whatever the heck that means. And then we've got the outer muscle, inner muscle, the muscle cap, and another inner side muscle. So I think we all know what's happening with these four pieces. Not sure where this is going. So we're gonna kick this off by assembling this inner muscle. I'm a little upset about this on mine. You can see there's some paint that's been scratched off of it. That's unfortunate. Maybe I can angle it in a way that it's not really visible when the model is assembled. But other than that, you know, things look fairly nice. And this is gonna be assembled in the same way. Throw it together, a little super glue here, a little super glue here, and then you're done. And there you go. Another muscle assembled. All right, next up, we're gonna take these inner side muscles and we're gonna throw this one right in here, just like this. And right here, there's a little socket in the pelvic plate. This to just pop in. Same thing for the other side. Boom. Just like that. And now we have two of these. This is all assembled. And we still have these extra parts here, but that actually completes stage 54. Oh yeah! Stage 55, this is a part we get here. This is the entire right thigh, all in one giant piece, which is incredible. This is awesome. I love the etching work here. This mold was really well done. I like it. Only big issue, complete brittle plastic. Very, very light. It does have a bit of a notch here. I'm guessing it's part of the manufacturing process. But you know, other than that, this thing is looking beautiful, honestly. You also get a few nuts, but no screws. So I'm a little confused as to where that's gonna go. I guess we'll find out as the stage goes on. All right, we're gonna kick things off with these two pieces though. You'll notice there's a couple of posts on this one, just on the one side. If you take a look in here, you've got the holes right in here. And another one on the other side. A little hard to see in this light, but there they are. And this is just gonna slide in on the outside of the curve so that those posts go into those holes. This is friction fit, so no super glue needed this time. And it should, yep, snap right into place, just like that. Okay, this next part is not gonna be fun. You can see right here, we've got all these little hex slots. Well, that's where these nuts are gonna go. But we need to make sure that the nuts don't go anywhere. So we actually have to super glue the hex nuts into these holes. Let me get to that and I'll be right back. All right, y'all, that was not fun at all. These nuts did not want to go into those slots, like, at all. I mean, they didn't want to line up, they didn't want to stay, it was a pain in the butt. What I ended up having to do was actually open up the next pack, the next stage, and get these really long screws, and then put the screw in through here, thread the nut above the plastic, get a little super glue on the edge of the nut, and then kind of hold it down and screw it until everything lined up, and use the screw to pull it in straight so that it would become flush. It was just a pain in the butt. It's done, but wow, what a nasty piece of work that is. All right, with all those nuts in place, you can actually take this and slide it in and make sure that the 4 holes here line up with the holes in the nuts. Should go in nice and neat, just like that. And that actually completes stage 55. And here are the parts we get with stage 56. We have the hip joint. Man, that looks cool. We have inner casing for hip joint and outer casing for hip joint. And we also have this domed cap for the hip joint and the outer cap for the hip joint. So I'm gonna take a wild guess here and say we're gonna be working on the left bicep today. Or, you know, maybe we'll just stick with the hip joint. All right, we're gonna bring the big guy out for this next set of steps, and this is gonna be fun. So let's take a look in here, and I don't know if you can see it, but way down on either side of the post inside there are some raised slots. And right here, we got these slots. Those are actually gonna fit over those to lock it in place like this. But before we can get there, we gotta take this. This thing actually slipped out. Not to worry, it'll be held in place soon enough. And on this side, we're gonna take this piece. You can see it's got a raised end and a flat surface. Raised end goes in first. Make sure that it goes around the screw holes all the way down, just like that. And then we put this in, just like that. And now we can slide it in. Make sure those slots fit over little grooves in there. And then we're gonna take one of these 8mm screws here. I'm just gonna go right down through the center, all the way through to hold it in place. All right, and there is still a little bit of play here, but it is in there nice and secure. All right, next up, we're gonna take this puppy and this one and this one. Line them all up just like this, okay? And they're gonna go all in here, avoiding those screw posts. And then we're gonna take 4 of these guys and use it to hold the whole assembly in place. All right, I got all 4 screws in here. I gotta tell you, I'm not terribly happy. There's motion forward and back. There's enough tension to hold this part of the leg in place. However, the slightest touch, you can see it's starting to go down. If there's metal in the bottom half of this, or even if there's not, I don't know that there's enough tension in that joint to hold the leg in any given pose. There's also not a lot of motion in and out, so he's definitely not going to be doing the splits anytime soon. Okay, and here we have stage 57. We have a hip plate. Pretty sure I know where that's going. And then we have a right leg part and a right leg part insert. Just love the descriptions they give for these. And then a couple of these screws. These are Allen screws, so you'll need the right bit. Alright, first up we're going to take the hip plate here. That is just going to slide right in. There are 4 posts. They're going to line up with the screw holes that were in there. And then we're going to take one of these Allen screws that came with this issue and pop it in place. Okay, and with this screw in place, I got to tell you, it really helped with the tensile strength on this joint here. You can screw it in as tight as you want. It's still mobile, but definitely harder to maneuver and might just hold the weight of the entire leg now. And to finish off the stage, we'll take these 2 pieces for the right leg parts. This goes right in here, and this is a very tight fit. So just push it in as far as it'll go. There is a little bit of a gap here, which is okay. No glue is required for this particular one. So we're good. That's the end of stage 57. And here we are at the beginning of stage 58, and we have us a right leg part, nicely detailed. This one looks good. Not too many artifacts on mine, on my copy for this one anyway. And a number of screws, 2 different sizes. All right, this next bit is gonna be fun. All right, let's pick this puppy up for a minute. If you take a look in here, you can see a little hole here, little hole here, little hole here. As for screws, and you have matching posts on this plate. So the plate will just slide in just like this, and then the screws are going to come in from the other side. I'm going to use these little 4mm screws here to hold it in place. All right, and with all the screws in place, you can see it's nice and flush, looks beautiful. We can move on to the next bit. Now the next bit is actually going to be on the inside here. Let me see if I can figure out a way to show this on camera. Okay, effectively what's going to happen is we're going to take one of those bolts and it's going to go through here and into this hole right here to hold this in place. All right, and with that installed, you can see we still have a good range of motion, but it is not completely loose. And that, all right, y'all, here we are at stage 59, and we have right leg joint, tendon for right leg, ring for right leg, and excuse me, this is the ring for the right leg, okay? This is the center part for the joint, and then we have some screws. First things first, we're gonna take these 2 parts here, and if you take a look, you got 3 posts, you got 3 holes, and yes, we have to super glue them in place. And that is what the finished product looks like. It is flush with the silver, it does not go inside. All right, for this next bit, we're gonna take this little piece here, and we've got this little rubber washer. And if you take a look, one side has a smaller hole than the other. The larger one fits over top of that. And we take one of the black screws to hold it in place, just like that. And we're actually done with this for now. And now the fun part. I'm gonna take this puppy, and if you take a real close look, you can see a number 1 on it. That's how you know you've got the right one, okay? And you're gonna slot it right here, just like this. Make sure that the angle is facing outwards towards the leg. And we're gonna take one of these bolts, and it's gonna go in from the outside all the way through to hold it in place. And there you go. And that actually completes stage 59. And here are the parts we get with stage 60. We have another right leg joint, and we've got yet another tendon for the right leg, and a ring for the tendon, and we've got this center part for the joint, and we've got a whole bunch of screws and nuts, and it's all kind of fun. Now this tendon thing, if you take a look at the one we got in stage 59, they are exactly the same length, and the end here is exactly the same, but you'll notice this has a circular hole. This one has a hex hole. And on the inside, you can see it's got a wider gap here. So clearly they are different and you don't want to mix them up. All right, we're gonna kick things off by super gluing that to that, just like we did with the other piece. All right, and there you go, nice and securely fitted. Now we're going to move on to putting the rubber washer onto this, same as last time. A wider opening to cover that, and a black screw to hold it in place. And now we got one more step for this one, which is to fit one of these nuts into that hex hole. And it does not say anything about glue, so we'll just fit that thing in there. And yep, push it all the way in so that it's nice and flat and secure in there. All right, next up we're going to take this one and make sure it's got the number 2 in there. And we're going to line it up. This is on the back side of the model. We're going to line it up right here. We're going to use a screw. It's one of these fully threaded screws, not one of the bolts, okay? According to the instructions, we use a fully threaded screw. We're gonna come in from the outside here and just screw it through to hold it in place. Just like before, make sure the angle is facing towards the outside, so just like this. Should go in nice and neat. And when you're done, you'll have something like this. All right, this next bit's gonna be pretty fun. All right, this right here is the piston from stage 59 or earlier. It's the number 1 piston. And this is, I got it mixed up. This is the tendon from 59. So we're gonna throw this puppy in here, just like this. Okay. And we're gonna do the other one for the stage 60 tendon. If we can get that puppy in. There we go. All right, now the way this is supposed to go, there's a little hole right here. So this one will line up there. This one will line up just like this. And we put one of these bolts through it to hold them all in place. All right, and when it's done, you can see how the pistons are moving here as you move the leg back and forth. So that is just awesome. And with these pistons attached, that actually completes pack 6 here. So it looks like we are continuing down the right side of the model here, and we're just gonna make this completely lopsided. I'd be willing to bet stage 7 is going to be the bottom half of the right leg. But still in all, this thing is just looking awesome. What do y'all think? Did you like the video? If you did, please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Have a great day.